So, ouch. Mm, mm. We're in the setup phase. Damn. Look crazy. I always look crazy. That's so funny to me. I always look crazy. There's not a day go by where I don't look crazy. Ugh. Hmm. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Mm. Uh, I just got done taking a nap. It wasn't long enough, but it was good enough. Wasn't long enough, but it was good enough. All right. What's going on, everybody? I'm like a minute late. I have to. Oh, I figured out. Let me see. Let me center this a little bit. I figured out what. Let me see if it's gonna do it. No, where is it? It's like this little glow that was happening. I figured it out. There's like a crack right in the middle of my screen on my camera, so it's like an extra. It's like an extra glow or something that's happening. I'm gonna have to go change my. I'm gonna have to go change my screen. All right. So we're gonna start this off right away. I think what I'm gonna start doing for the setup phase, I'm gonna give myself like 4 minutes, and then for now on, or no, 4 minutes is cool. 4 or 5 minutes to kick back and chill, and then I'm gonna always start like everything starts at like probably 4 or 5 minutes. So I'm gonna talk about the communication system. That's exactly what I'm gonna talk about first today. Because I did say last time that I was going to start these lives with actual concepts and topics. Um, and then we're gonna start this right now. So I'm gonna start with the communication system. Someone actually couple lives ago, they asked me, "God damn, thank you guys for popping in. Go ahead and like the video right now." We're gonna start in like a minute. Official Jeremiah Glazer. Who you glazing that hard? You said the official Glazer. That's crazy. um, Guada Guadalupe. What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Nice to see y'all. 33 people. Go ahead and like the video. I should have posted something before I came on. That would have helped the. You're pretty cool. I like your stream. I appreciate you. I've been trying to live stream every day. That's what I'm gonna do. This is I came on early because at 7:30 I'm gonna go teach jujitsu. And we're gonna talk about some money, some motion, some mind, some muscles. We're gonna talk about all types of stuff. I'm about to have fun. You wanna talk about LeBron? LeBron's not I used to be a LeBron like fan. Well, no, I'm still a LeBron fan. He's just not who he used to be anymore. Is he gonna win another championship? I have no clue. I have no clue. Anyways, 4 minutes. We just hit 4 minutes. All right, so I want you guys to understand I'm a martial artist. For those who have just walked in who don't know who I am, I'm a martial artist, and I believe that usually when you hear about martial arts, you hear about there's different types of what we got. What we got? We got kickboxing. We have Krav Maga, self defense. You hear all this little nonsense about what's the best self defense. That's one thing about martial arts that they talk about. And don't worry, everybody. I'm gonna respond to your comments, but I want to make sure that I get directly. We structure this shit. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure we structure this properly. So the best self defense I used to say is parkour. I would always say that the best self defense is parkour, due to the fact that parkour allows you to build an awareness of how to escape. That's what I always tell people. And then after that, after a lot of reflection, I've realized that is actually, thank you for subbing. I realize is actually communication. Communication is the best martial art. And I've been slowly hinting at it, but I've built up an entire communication system, a communication martial arts system. And I'm gonna quickly explain it to you guys. So my audience is typically male, but if you're females, if there's any ladies that come in, go ahead. I want to have like another relationship with my female audience. I want to have a little book club going on. The ladies love when I talk about the books, but let me continue. Let me stay on topic. So the communication system that I came up with is it goes north, south, east, west. Okay, and I've learned this is actually like real, like I guess when I came up with it, I didn't realize I was actually using real concepts. So you have vertical thinking and you have horizontal thinking. So we're going to talk about the South. We'll start off with the South first, which is basically based on self sovereignty. Okay. I know it sounds so boring to you guys, but when you really look at how good of an intuitive system this actually is, you can use this anywhere. If you have problems talking to people and you struggle to build connections with people. This is how you do it. You get to actually look within the compass and see where you lacking and build it up from there. So the South is all about sovereignty. It's I would say the foundational cause of the South is building confidence within yourself and knowing how to talk to yourself and knowing how to have belief in yourself because that's where all of this starts at, having a solid foundation and developing a mental fortitude where you become unbreakable. I believe for me, that's one of my biggest strengths. I don't think anybody but myself can break me mentally. I just don't think so. And I think that there's a bunch of techniques. So I'll give you guys a technique right now. Self-talk is the foundation and the beginning of confidence. Okay. So the way you talk to yourself, the way you speak to yourself is going to determine if you are going to be able to develop confidence. Now, the thing about confidence, people think confidence is naturally born. Um, but confidence is not something that is natural, actually. Confidence is something. I'm going to mute you. Hold on. Let me see. Because put user in timeout. We're going to put you on a 30-minute timeout. Yep, putting you in a 30-minute timeout because you're being weird. Anyways, back to what I was saying about confidence. Um, Confidence is something that you like it's not God given. I remember someone asked me, they said, hey, yeah, I know people are fucking weird sometimes. Confidence is not something that you could just get. You have to build it up and you have to work towards it. So don't think like just because if you're looking at yourself, you look in the mirror and you say, damn, I have no confidence. That is literally like a muscle. Okay, so that's the South. Then we go to the North, right? The North is, I would say, it's sovereignty over your motion. Okay, it's sovereignty over your system. It's more about systematic thinking, right? So here's a technique from the North that I would say: if you find yourself stuck, you don't know what you want to do, you feel like you can't get over somebody, you got to get busy. That's one of the biggest things, you got to get busy. What is up with these weirdos today? Hold on. Oh no, I accidentally hid him from the channel. Let me undo that. And I'm gonna put you in timeout for 30 minutes as well. Yeah, we getting some weirdos today. Golly. Right when I decided to structure my life, we getting some weirdos today. Yeah, we getting some weirdos today. Some straight weirdos. Like, if any of you guys come in here and think you're about to, that's the one thing that gets to me. If you think you're gonna spam it, I'm just gonna sit back and I'm just gonna put you in timeout. And then if you guys keep coming through doing it, I'm gonna put you in timeout for 24 hours. And anyways, back to the North. So the South and the North is what's known as vertical thinking. For those who are just walking in, we were talking about how communication is also a martial art. So that, yeah, I knew someone was gonna ask. We're talking about communication as a martial art. So what the hell is going on today? What time is it? Is this like I might have to let me see. Hold on. Let me see if he's gonna spam too. I know it's so weird today. People are so strange today. Yo, look at that kid's comment. He said, "I just cook hot links. I'll save you mines if you're hungry." I don't get it. What do you mean? I thought he was gonna start spamming. What's good? What's good? What's good? Hold on. Let me. I'm gonna kind of fall off the topic. Maybe live streaming is just not meant for like. Let me see. Because we're getting some weirdos today, like legit bona fide weirdos. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just paying attention. I just want to see if someone else is gonna spam so I can. Yeah, like weirdos. We're getting weirdos today, like straight weirdos. 6, 7, yeah, like, like that. That's their brain, you know. Look, 68 up. John Nut. Hold on, let me see. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on, let me see. Is she gonna say something else? Unk. Okay. Say one more thing, stupid. Motherfuckers is weird today. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just like mesmerized by the amount of weirdos we're getting today. You said, "What are you doing for this stream?" Well, I want to talk about how communication is a martial art. But then while I'm talking about it, we're just getting a odd amount of people that's just stream sniping, you know, and it's weird. I don't know what's going on today. We got 10 likes though. I appreciate you guys. Anyways, back to it. A couple of monkeys ain't gonna stop the show. I'm just not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just start. I'm gonna start banning you guys for 24 hours. That's what I'm gonna do. Not 30 minutes. It's about to be 24 hours now because I don't have no patience for today. Back to what I was saying though. So the South and the North is called vertical thinking. Okay, yes, communication is a martial art. So the South and the North, I've talked about the South, which is all about building confidence, right? Yeah, well, my moderator is not here right now because I came on a little bit too early. But you know, it's okay. But the South is basically it is self sovereignty, and the North is systems thinking, sovereignty over your system, and this is called vertical thinking. Now, vertical thinking is basically designed to let me see. Can review. Let me see. Let me make you a standard modder. Yeah, I'll give it to you. Fuck it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there you go. I'll give that to you then. Put you as a standard moderator. Fuck it. Just like I don't mind trolls, but when people start spamming, it's the spamming that I don't like because then I can't read the comments. You get what I'm saying? So if someone comes in, they're asking dumbass questions, that's fine with me. I love that shit. But when you start doing like 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, it's like, all right, bro. You know, like now you're just taking the fun away. There's a gene. Okay, let me explain this. This is actually good because I'm gonna start over for you guys. Don't worry. No, that's fine. The 6, 7 shit, like that's funny. But let me explain something. Like there is levels to stupid shit. I need to explain this. Like this is, I need us to understand this. There's levels to stupid shit. Okay, so you have like there is some geniusness to when people are being very ignorant, and you have to find the genius inside of it. Okay, that's what I like to do. I love when people come in, they ask dumb questions or they troll. I like that. But when you have bottom barrel, like brain rot, like child, like I'm talking like like a baby amount of stupid shit. You get what I'm saying? Like a child. Have y'all ever seen Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends? That's an old cartoon. Let me explain something. Like, and there was an episode where, so basically, if you guys don't know what Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends basically is, it's an OG Cartoon Network. It's a show. Basically, a kid would imagine an imaginary friend, and it would manifest into a person, right? And then when the kid grows too old for the imaginary friend, he would send them to the foster's home, right? And there was an episode where they had this um, particular door locked, right? So when you open the door, it was like these scribble scrabbles. It was just scribble scrabbles, and they were just all over the place, like flies. And everyone was like, "What the hell type of imaginary friends is this?" They said these are imaginary friends that babies created, right? So the whole episode, like these things are like flies. They're just all over the place. So they had to like contain them and put them back in a locked door because basically babies imagined it. So what I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with stupid shit, but when you come up with just just I don't know. You guys get what I'm saying? Like if it's not at least funny, if it's not at least creative, I can't work with that. You know, there's nothing to learn from here. You said what level is throwing full spray paint cans into a fire? I have no clue. You say it's an Asia holiday? I don't know what's going on. What you guys say? It's interesting. This is interesting. I don't know. Everybody's having like something going on. You want to know? There was a they I hear that the kids are on break right now. I heard about that. You said the problem is when it's with negative intentions, they don't usually say these things. Um, it's like I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like there's levels to it. Like you can take a negative comment and flip it into something positive, but when it just gets like a baby. Like my little brother had the tism. Well, he does have the tism, but he's like he was a slow learner. But when he was a child, everybody used to pretend that they understood that he was able to talk, right? And he would be sitting back as a child. That's what he used to do, right? And I was the only one who was like, yo, there's like, we need to teach this kid how to talk, right? And it took a while and they finally put him in speech therapy, right? So, you know, there's some people that are so dumb where they come in, it's like, all right, bro, I can't work with you, my man. I can't work with you, you know? Yeah, okay, you're right, you're right. My initial topic is deep. So it's like, let me write this down. It is, I'm gonna just say 18 minutes. Do y'all mind if I start over? We have a moderator now. Do y'all mind if I start over? And I'm gonna be quick about it. Okay. I'm gonna be quick about it. Okay. Because yeah, okay. Okay. So starting right now. Okay, so communication is a martial art. So for those who don't know who I am a martial artist and I spend all day fighting. That's all I do. I fight. And over the course of I guess recently is just hit 10 years of me just doing the totality of martial arts, okay? And the biggest question that I've learned with martial arts is what is the best self-defense? You'll hear some people say Krav Maga. You'll hear some people say, you'll hear like just all these different martial arts. But then ever since I started doing MMA, which I've realized that there are 4 dimensions of MMA, I have realized that not only are there 4 dimensions of MMA, but there's 4 dimensions of fighting. Okay, like all the fighting, even like guerrilla warfare, you know, whatever you want to say, you know. But I would always famously say that the best self-defense is actually parkour. I believe parkour is 100% the best self-defense because you build an awareness and you run away from the situation. There's nothing ever wrong with running away from a situation. I think if you don't say nothing and you just run away from the situation, you have a better chance of living. But then I had realized over time that there's another twin. There's like another option, which is communication. And over time, I've been studying communication about as long as I've been doing martial arts itself. I just never looked at communication as a martial art. So until one day I realized while studying communication that you can indeed develop better communication skills. It's just like martial arts. If you want to develop better kicks, you go practice kicks. If you want to develop better punches or submissions, you go practice it. It's the same thing with communication. So I've developed a system, a compass system. I call it the communication compass system, where you have north and south, and you have east and west. Now I've learned with north south, this is typically masculine polarity, and with east and west, this is typically feminine polarity. Now I'm not saying, oh, like if you're a woman, masculine polarity, you can't do that. And if you're a man, feminine polarity, you can't do that. I just need you to know when you are in your masculine and when you are in your feminine. I believe in duality. I truly believe in duality. I believe that there's a feminine side in me, and I believe if there's a woman that I meet, there's a masculine side in her. But we need to be very, very aware. Some people call it the shadow side, but that's a totally different topic. Anyways, so we're gonna start off with what I like to start off with, which is the South, right? Not the North. The South is inside the inner. The South is about self sovereignty. So, like, basically being good within the self, it's internal. Okay. So, what I mean by that is, I'll give you guys a technique from the South. Basically, confidence. The South talks all about confidence. If you go on my shorts, scroll up a little bit, you'll see north, south, east, west. People have been asking me what the hell that is. I haven't said nothing, but I decided if I come on live, I could probably explain this better, because I can't explain this on like a video or shorts. It's not going to make no sense, but I can explain it here. So the South, the main topic, the beginning of it, the beginning of, I guess, wisdom, I guess you could say, is the confidence. Now, when people hear confidence, maybe there's some people in here and they're like, I don't have good confidence, right? I don't know, like, what to do, right? Is it something that you naturally are born to have? Well, no. Confidence is a skill. Okay. There's a book called The Confident Mind. I forgot who it's by, but just type in The Confident Mind and you'll see, like, it's like a beige with a Roman face on it of some sort. So with confidence, right? You said, then I have none of that skill. So, but don't worry. Hi, Jay. Don't worry. I'm gonna show you guys. Confidence is something that you have to build with every day, and the foundation of building confidence is the way you talk to yourself. It's self-talk. Okay. So when you wake up every day, the way you talk to yourself is the beginning of you building your confidence. You have to tell yourself that you can do something. Now, of course, we don't want to build delusion, but you would not be friends with someone that talks to you the way you talk to yourself if you're negative about whatever you're doing. You wouldn't be friends with that person. If you're sitting back and you're chilling with someone, they say you can't do that, you're trash. You can be like, bro, like, get away from me. So why are you playing with yourself? You get what I'm saying? So that's the technique that I would talk about with the South: self-sovereignty, confidence. But then once you understand yourself, right? Once you build that confidence, there's way more other techniques that we will talk about with that. Then you go to the North, right? Now, with the North, it's external sovereignty. So if the South was internal sovereignty, the North is external sovereignty, which is systems thinking, building what I call motion. Okay. So we every day get up and we go to someone else's dream. Okay. We're managing someone else's purpose. If you really think about it, when you go to a job, somebody built this system, and they got to a point where they didn't need to do this part of the job. They hired somebody. You get what I'm saying? So what you have to constantly think about is your motion. You have to constantly be trying to figure out, how do I do what my purpose is about? So that's kind of the main thing. So once you have confidence within the self, hey, Kara, once you have confidence within yourself, then you can begin having confidence in your motion. Okay, so that's one thing. And here's a technique from, like the North. I said that when you are confused and you feel like someone's stuck in your mind, get busy. Getting busy is the soul. Like when you are on your purpose and you're focused on your purpose, that is how you get everything attracted to you. That's like the law of attraction. Like, especially since it's a masculine polarity, right? Because it's a masculine polarity, understand that the feminine polarity loves and it's actually attracted to motion. I will give you an example. If you look at the sun, right? The gravitational pull of what the sun is doing, because the sun is just moving, it's just doing what it got to do. But other things rotate around the sun. Okay. We understand that, right? That's how you have to be. You know, you express yourself through your motion and everything will attract the sun, masculine. Okay. So then let's go into the horizontal level of thinking, right? Um, you said you say, okay, I'm definitely following you, but I think some delusion helps build self confidence. It does, but you have to be very aware of what is delusion, what is good delusion, and what isn't good delusion. But let's go to the horizontal form of thinking, the feminine polarity. Now, I have learned that this type of thinking, it cycles, and it's more so about emotion. You get what I'm saying? Now, if we'll start on the West, right? Now, the West is more so about, I want to say, subconscious thinking. I think one of my favorite, favorite concepts is we're gonna go kind of the little pills, the red pill stuff, right? This is not about to be whatever the fuck you guys are thinking, but what I love about the red pill is they did point at something that is a concept that is actually true, right? I'm not promoting everything. There's certain things. What I didn't like that the red pill didn't do was they exposed these problems, but they didn't build techniques of how to handle these problems. They just sat back and just complained about it all day, and then now it just seems to be like an incel type of movement. But they talked about the concept of hypergamy. Okay, follow me here. Follow me. So the concept of hypergamy is that women typically will always be looking for the best possible mate. Okay? They will leave you for the best possible situation. So when men hear this, right, they're thinking, "Oh my god, women are so shallow. I can't stand women." And then it creates, misogynist man hating women, or no, women hating men, right? And they're angry about this stuff. But if you pay attention, we are animals, okay? If you look at a dog, right? There's certain things. If you have a certain dog, like of a certain breed, you can literally go look at the rap sheet of what this dog is going to act like, right? Because that's the nature of the dog, okay? Like there's nothing you can do. If you get a pit bull, right? You know that this pit bull has anger issues instilled inside of it, right? We know this. So if the pit bull lashes out, you knew what you was getting into, right? So why do women have hypergamy? Because back then, when if you all you guys gotta do, go to the Homo habilis. That's like the first humans. If you found out how humans had to survive at first, like they were running around not making it past the age of 13. Okay? You get what I'm saying? So at some point, women who was the weaker sex had to look and say, "Oh, this guy is stronger than me. I'm sticking with him." You know? And that helped ensure survival. That's where it came from, right? There was a post, my homegirl Taylor Moore, shout out Taylor Moore. There was a post she said, which I totally agreed with. She said, I will not get with a guy who couldn't protect me in a zombie apocalypse or an anarchy situation. She said, you might be with a guy who is only able to help you because there is a social contract that keeps him alive. If everything went crazy, he's gonna get pillaged, then you're gonna get pillaged with them. I'm only attracted to a man who would protect me in an apocalypse. And luckily, I'm shocked I didn't see people mad at her, but that's true. You get what I'm saying? So the whole point of the West, because we're talking about the West, is I need you guys to understand. Oh, you saw that post. It was such a great post. I need you guys to understand the nature of things, okay? That it is what it is. It is what it is. You get what I'm saying? So if women, right, are naturally wired to want the best mate, right? That's that feminine polarity. If we go back to that vertical thinking, let's look at what the North was about. It was about the motion, where you're going. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, remember I said women are attracted to the motion. When they see a man not trying, like focused on something, and he is like zeroed the hell in on it, and he has a trajectory of going somewhere, they're attracted to that. They stick with that. They see you going somewhere, now they're attracted to that. So here's a technique that I've learned, and we'll even leave the hypergamy stuff alone, right? We'll leave that alone. But that's one of my favorite concepts, that is a wired topic that you just can't get around. There's no reason, you need to understand it though. But here's a West technique, right? A West technique is, I think it was called, there's a post, the last thing I think I posted was about the West, and I think it was called perceptual selectivity. I believe that's what it was called. But basically, when you meet people, right, they're really not paying attention to you. Like their minds is like, this is psychological, or no, subconsciously. Their minds is developing a story of you where it's kind of like, imagine you skim read something. You have something, you skim read it, and you read kind of what you want to do. Everybody, me, you, our minds kind of skim past certain things, right? So when people get you wrong, right, it's because their minds create a story about you, and it's stuck with that. Understand that, okay? And there's the whole concept is called, there's even a whole concept of reading behavior, like where you can read people's face, micro expressions, where this is another cool technique that you guys would know. If you really pay attention to people, like everybody, when someone says something, right? Like there's like a split second. It's called a micro expression. A split second where the real person comes out. Like if you say something, like you'll see that they didn't like it, or you'll see, like, I think this is really good for, like, let's say if you're a guy, you're talking to a girl, right? And this is something I'm super good at. I always pay close attention to this. I'll talk to a girl and I'll ask a question, and I look straight. I look, and if I see like it's fast as shit. If I see a grin, I know I'm doing something right. If I see it's you have to pay attention to it. That's the West though. The West is all about like subconscious thinking, and I'm going to teach you guys how to catch those. Now, when you go over to the East, this is conscious thinking. The East is conscious thinking. Okay? This is where, like, how me and you guys are sitting back talking to each other. One thing that I've learned, I think, like, one of my favorite concepts is there's negotiation, there's pickup artistry, stuff like that. I even built like a matrix called the positive communicator system, which is, there's some people who say, I feel awkward when I talk around people, right? Well, let me help you guys out. The number one skill, I'm gonna give you guys some skills. The number one skill for real communication, conscious, not subconscious, that was the West. Now we're on the East. The number one skill for conscious thinking is listening skills. Okay? So listening, that's the number one skill for communication, listening. The number two skill is empathy. There's a difference between empathy and there's a difference between sympathy. So if you guys want to know the difference, imagine, let's put some levels here, right? This is empathy and this is sympathy. Okay? So imagine someone is standing right here, right? And someone is in a hole. So this person looks over and he sees this person is in a hole and he's sad, right? He says, damn, I feel sorry for you. That sucks, right? I hate that you're in that hole. That is sympathy. But empathy is, this person puts a ladder, he climbs down, and he understands what it feels like to be in this hole. He's not going to be stuck with them in this hole. He's going to talk with them from here, and then he climbs back up and he does whatever he has to do. That's the difference between empathy and sympathy. Okay? So empathy is the second major component to positive communication. Now, how do we put positive communication into effect? And the concept, the word, the academic term is called rapport building. Now, rapport building is one of the most interesting concepts that I've ever came across. If you go back to sovereignty, remember we had the masculine polarity, vertical thinking, then we have the horizontal thinking. And I told you guys first start with the South, talk to yourself properly. But then some of you guys probably be like, well, when I go talk to people, I don't know what to talk about and it feels weird, So rapport building is the art of small talk. Okay? It's the art of small talk. And this is one of my favorite things. What you do is, and there's actual techniques of how you talk, of how you generate small talk. I believe there was one. Let me see. I don't even know if I can remember it. Where you like, there's like an acronym. There's acronyms of how you can use small talk. You could talk about entertainment. You could talk about the food. You could talk about the environment. So entertainment, food, environment. It's called Hefe. What was the H? What was the H? History. I think it's history, entertainment, food, and environment. So you could cycle through all of those and ask really short questions. If you're wondering, well, why am I asking these small questions? Because one of these small questions is going to build insight. That's the whole point of doing a small talk. You use small talk like a brick. Put a brick, put a brick, put a brick, put a brick, and then you create insight, right? Insight means you understand them or you've learned something a little bit deeper about them, right? And then you hold on to that, right? Insight usually is how you have like good conversations. And when you hold on to that insight and you have small talks of insight, that is from insight, it creates deep conversations, right? And then you build more small talk from the deep conversation, or you can leave it and start it all over again. But you have a checkpoint of something, of somebody, right? You have that, and then you turn around, you do it again, talk about what'd you eat today, how do you feel about this place that you're in, what type of entertainment you're into, what's your history. You get what I'm saying? There's techniques for all this stuff. Now, when you look at all this stuff, right, and also the conscious, the conscious right there, that conscious thinking is what the MMA crowd loves so much. Now watch this. This is gonna blow your mind. Ever notice when there's like a new fight coming up, right? And there's like everyone's excited for the main event, right? We have press conferences, right? So in the conscious, I've created 4 systems. I explained to you guys 3 of the positive communication. And then you have diplomacy, and then you have battle rap, battle rap and dark rhetoric, which is like manipulation and stuff like that, right? So, and these are the 4 things that we're going to talk about on the East, right? So let's take the MMA crowd, for example. The MMA crowd, all what they really want to see when we have press conferences is they want to see battle rap. They want to see these guys talk shit to each other, right? They want to see the mind. That's what they want to see. They're interested in that. You see why I say communication is a martial art? Like if it wasn't a martial art, why do we have press conferences? We don't give a damn about how good their training was. We want to hear them talk shit to each other because it's a martial art. We want to see where the mind is at. But then watch this. That's the East. But then when they stand in front of each other, or maybe during the conversation, right? Everyone pays attention. You see all these MMA guys do this. Maybe like this dude says something to that dude, and you see this guy kind of get like rattled about it. Because we're looking at his subconscious, the West. We're paying attention to that. We're like, I don't like his body language. The body, I believe the central nervous system, which is the nerves in our body, I believe that's our subconscious. I believe that's our second brain. Once you shut down your main brain, your conscious brain, and you go to sleep, your central nervous system wakes up, I believe. And that's why you dream. I know that that's a concept in neuroscience, but me calling your central nervous system a second brain, that's not a concept in neuroscience. That's my concept, but I believe it is. And we pay attention to fighters, the body language. We pay attention to all of that stuff, okay? So that right there And I would have to teach people that stuff. I would have to keep on, I would have to keep, like, it's such a giant topic, but all you have to do is pay attention to everything I said, right? I don't need you to learn like the North, for example, right? There's a concept that you know that you just are lacking. Maybe you lack confidence, right? There's people who have good motion, but they have no confidence. You get what I'm saying? So there's some people who can read people really well, but they don't know how to talk to people. You see what I'm saying? So that right there is why I said communication is a martial art, and I believe that besides parkour, communication is the best form of self defense. If you cannot talk your way out of a situation, then you should try to run out of the situation. What's good, Ghost? Then you should try to run out of a situation, right? And then if you can't run out of the situation, now we have all of the fighting styles that everyone's been talking about, okay? But that right there is the communication system that I have created. It seems like a lot, but martial arts is a lot. Jiu-jitsu has, like, watch this. Like, I bet you someone's going to be listening to all that shit. They're going to be like, damn, this is way too much. Like, oh, it's too complicated. No. Like, I could break down jiu-jitsu for you guys right now. You know? I could break that down. Jiu-jitsu's long as fuck too. It's probably even longer. There's 6 families of submissions. There's 4 guards, basic guards that you have to know. You have to know all the guard passes. There's pins, you know? There's all types of stuff. You get what I'm saying? Boxing is just as complicated. Just like that, you know? So that's the communication system that I came up with. And I want maybe without, you know what, that's what I'm gonna do. Because I have said that what I want to do is I want every day for me to come in and I want to talk about like have actual real topics to talk about, right? To structure this live much better. But I think if I really like maybe every day go into each compass and break down a technique, then they'll probably make the lives a little bit better. But I might have to I probably won't be able to watch you guys' comments at first. But now I'm going to read you guys' comments. So that was 4230. There we go. 42. Damn. 4230. Took me a while to explain all that. So and that's communication as a martial art. We'll talk more about that on the next stream. If you have any questions, I'm about to read you guys. I'm about to read you guys comments, and we're about to have some fun. So let me see. All right. So let's read. You said seen that post. Doesn't always have to be a man they're attracted to. That's true. It's just like this stuff works with gay people too. I mean, you know, this is just communication is gender fluid to me, you know? Like it's gender fluid. I'm just using like just regular, like we have to, like, okay, how do I say this? We have to use, the thing about gender fluid is it mixes stuff up too much. Okay. Like there's nothing wrong with being trans, whatever you are, but we cannot deny the science of certain things, right? Meaning, listen to what I'm about to say. There's positive protons, there's negative protons, right? There's masculine, there's femininity. It doesn't matter. I could turn gay today and want to and decide to be feminine. I mean, it doesn't matter. But we have to stick with actual real energy. That is what I'm talking about. Real energy. There's masculine energy and there's feminine energy. There's nothing wrong with that. We can have, you know, mixing gender fluids. We can have all that stuff. But what I'm talking about is energy. And I want to understand the concepts of energy. Okay. So yeah, scare people like to go behind them and go boo. The first expression when they see you is usually how they feel about you. Yes. Interesting. Yeah, when you scare people, go behind them and say boo. The first expression when they see you is usually how they feel about you. That's some real talk. But that's the West though. We'll go into it. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. For every live stream, I'm gonna come in and we're gonna have a new technique for each polarity of the compass system. That's what we're gonna do. And then after that, we'll have a whole nother hour, right, of us just yapping and talking. But at least the lives will be much more structured. That book technique, I don't know, because I'd be feeling weird about my facial expressions because I'm in pain. So my pain kind of overrides how I might feel about someone. So they might misinterpret my facial expression. Yeah, we talked about that, Ghost. And I think like the more we come up with better, just because these are academic terms that I discovered. See so what I've let me see 45 30. I'm gonna say 45 30. So what has happened for me, the way I came up with the communication system, it was it was kind of bad in a way. Like I used to read a lot of books about manipulation, right? Like it's a I think every guy kind of goes through like some type of looks maxing or something where they kind of feel like they don't have enough. And when I was like 19 or 18, I studied manipulation very, very like tough. You get what I'm saying? And I wouldn't even say it's like manipulation. I would say like if you look at pickup artistry, for example, let's look at pickup artistry. So some people will look at pickup artistry and they're like, oh, like that stuff doesn't work, right? But what pickup artistry has done is they have figured out the script of communication to get to sex the fastest. They have figured that out, right? So I studied stuff like that. And I learned how to do certain things. But the reason why we have this communication system, that's why I said on the East, there's four different like archetypes, or there's four different suits that you could wear. You have positive communication, right? Which to me, positive communication is that's the first one I always start with. That's how you develop love. Like that's how you build romance and stuff like that. Then you have diplomacy, right? So you need to know when you're being diplomatic and when you're being a positive communicator. And then the third one, I call it the verbal samurai. That's what I call it, which is basically battle rap, playing by the dozens, talking shit like you're fighting with your words, right? And then the fourth one is I call it dark rhetoric, which is the ninja. Basically, you're doing things that people are not aware of, right? These are the four conscious skills or suits that you could wear, or like play styles that you could actually do. And I've developed it. I'm man. Anyways, let me continue. So let's look. My pain is called depression. Hi, Ghost. What's good, Cara? Nice to see you. I want to learn jujitsu. Jujitsu is a great martial art. It's a great martial art. I think, though, start off with jujitsu, but at some point, add some striking within it. You said, what's up, Smitty? I see we have a new moderator to help fighting trolls. Ghost. Like, the first 18 minutes, I was trying to explain what I just explained, and dudes were just coming in being weird. I have never seen that level of weirdness. I was like, yo, like, what's going on? So I just threw him in, and and I explained to him. I said, I don't mind stupid questions, but it's the spamming. So people can come in and they can ask dumb questions, or they could troll. They could say like, Smitty, the sky is blue and your lips is blue. Like that's fine, But like if he says that 50 times, okay, we gotta get rid of him, All right. How do you knowingly differentiate between your subconscious West and conscious East? Well, I'm sorry if I'm like moving slow with responding. Maybe I already said it, but I'll say it again. The conscious understand it always deals with communication on the East. If you have to communicate with someone or say something to someone, you have to use your words, right? To someone, that's the East. The West, there is no words. This is just real, pure psychology. That's the difference. You know something that they don't know, right? So, for example, let's talk about the dark rhetoric, right? It took me a while when I was thinking about this. I said, well, couldn't the dark rhetoric be the West? Because you're basically talking a script to somebody. You're talking to their subconscious to convince them to do stuff. But then I realized no, because it's still conscious communication. Maybe they're unconscious, but you're consciously talking to them. So anytime that you have to use your words, right, to get somebody to do something or communicate to someone, that will always, always, always be the East. And the West is being able to judge character properly, being able to know, like when I was talking about hypergamy, the nature of things. Like when you understand that women are biologically it's in their system, wired to pick the best person as a life partner, you won't get mad about certain things that you see. It's just hypergamy, right? Like, oh, okay, that's just hypergamy, whatever, you know? And then you can move on, and then you can actually judge a woman based on certain things. Like, let's say you have a woman, she's like, I think, like, let's say Tom Brady's wife or his ex wife, right? Tom Brady is one of the biggest, like one of the goats in football of all time, and his wife cheated on him. Who else wife cheated on him? There was someone else's wife cheated on him. With these multimillionaire dudes, their wives left them for someone that was lesser than, right? That's not so. Is that hypergamy? Maybe we'd have to look into it, but and we have to look at what came up. Well, actually, this is perfect because I know like the manosphere covered these types of topics really well. You'll see women, right, who they think the grass is greener on the other side, right? They'll divorce their man and they'll go to another relationship, and that relationship goes to shit, right? Um, was that hypergamy? Maybe, but that was probably a woman's greed and lust. You know, we'll talk about all that stuff. So there's differentiations. We'll keep talking. The, you said the HPC is weird, so just call me Ace. Okay, gotcha, Ace. There's a lot wrong with it, especially when it gets to the kids. God bless you, Smitty. Thank you, thank you. There's nothing wrong with homosexuality. It's just that it's uncommon with children nowadays. I oh, that's good. Is there anything wrong with homosexuality? I think the real problem is the forcing. Like I think like when for example, and this is no disrespect to nobody. I just didn't agree with this. When the trans decided to go read books to children, that was creepy. You know, why are you dressing in full drag in sexual clothes and going to go read to kids? I don't know, that was weird, you know? Because I feel like the American trans versus like the Asian trans is two different things, right? Like if you look at like Asians, for example, like let's look at them where it's ingrained in their culture. They look like women. They act like women. They look like women. They're not flamboyantly trying to convince everybody things. They know. And the thing is, they know. They know what the hell's going on. They know what they are. You get what I'm saying? Like, and they act accordingly. But then you come over here to America, they want everybody to be like that. They're like, oh, this person's just like, no, bro. Respect people's boundaries. It's like a lack of respect of boundaries. And I think that's the real problem that people have with homosexuality today. In America, at least in America, on the West. I'm gonna say the West instead of the East. Like the problem is you guys are not respecting boundaries. I think now it's funny. It's very funny because I do believe I have heard that LGB. There was a dude on YouTube, and like it was like a civil war going on. Like the LGB, lesbian, the gays, and the bis. He was saying his stance was it's hard to stick with the T, LMNO, all that other stuff. He said because they are going against biology. And he said that you have to acknowledge biology to be lesbian, gay, or bi. It's like this nerdy dude with glasses. It was like one of the best like videos I've ever seen. And so you have some LGB that doesn't align with the TXYZ. You get what I'm saying? It's like a little civil war going on where they're like, the LGB is like, bro, we just want to, I just it's like a guy. I just like guys. I just want to live my life properly. We don't have to convince everybody. And I think, you know, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I just think when you start crossing boundaries and trying to force it on everybody, I think that's the problem. I think that's the real problem. You see, I saw Robert Greene talk about that reaction. Looks like I finally jumped in early enough. Yes, Jay, we have a whole extra hour. Robert Greene, Robert Greene's books is really good. It jumps around all of the different polarities. I've read Robert Greene's book, like the 48 Laws of Power. People don't understand, but the 48 Laws of Power is like North thinking, right? Whereas it's about social dynamics. That's all it's about. But then people think it's, I don't know, people are not very smart, but these are social laws. And then you have Mastery by Robert Greene. Mastery talks about the South. That's South thinking. And then Robert Greene has the laws of human nature. That's West thinking, right? And then Robert Greene has the art of seduction. That is East, but that's dark. That's dark rhetoric. That's the ninja. That's dark, like that's manipulation, right? And what else does Robert Greene have? There's another one where he's talking about because Robert Greene, he's on his way out. If you guys don't know, that man is sick. He has one more book that he's trying to talk about, and it's gonna be on death. I've read all of his books, and and the 33 Strategies of War. Which one's that one? What would that be? I feel like that's North too. I feel like that's kind of North. But anyways, let me continue reading your concepts. You said I was reacting to voice comment, rebuttals. Jake the dog was good, and hate comments. Time those dudes out, right? Yeah, we the hate, like, well, let the hate comments, like, it depends if they spam. So I will let you guys know, like, if I don't like something, like, someone could come in and say, Smitty, you got monkey lips, you know. But if you guys feel like it's ruining, like, you guys would know. If you feel like it's ruining if we're having a really good conversation and then someone just they're just throwing a monkey wrench, and they, like, it's hard to explain. It's spam though. I hate spam. Spam is the only thing that gets to me. I hate spam. Everything else I don't care about. I'm really cool with it. You know, I think the monkey list probably would have made me laugh because I was trying not to laugh. I was trying to be I was trying to be serious about that one. Trans reading the kids wasn't weird, bro. It was a disgrace and just wrong, especially because the parents didn't get it. Say exactly. Boundaries. Exactly. My comments seem to have been removed when I hit the all messages button. I asked if we let explicit comments write out or do we time them out. No, you can let them write out. Let them write out. Super hateful. Yeah, Ace, you're right. Chappelle bit on LGBTQ. Yeah. Dave Chappelle was how is sexuality forced on us? Okay, let's talk about it. Jay, we talked about 33 Strategies of War. That's how you know I read the books. I didn't even get to your comment, but I was like, oh yeah, 33 Strategies of War. I think that's North thinking. Or it could be South. It could be it could be vertical thinking, maybe. But let me ask. So someone said, how is homosexuality forced on us? I think they have kind of calmed down. I think they've calmed down tremendously these past few years. But it was a point where you just could not see anything without them inserting something gay. It was ridiculous. And I was just like, bruh, it had to be that token, like, gay scene or something. Like, for the past, like, it was happening. Oh man. So they was allowed to get married in 2013. And I felt like we saw that 2018 or 2019, maybe, all the way to 2024. I think, like, the fatigue really started setting in. Well, you had, like, politics too kind of threw that stuff off. Like, because as long as the Democrats were winning, I felt like we saw, like, a lot of free and stuff like that. But then as everything started going to shit, we started having more things to really worry about. But yeah, it was forced on us. It was unnecessarily. It was just unnecessary, very unnecessary. A quick question: are you uncut? What does that mean? Because my I'm kind of ignorant, and my mind is going somewhere else. I am in the crowd, and that straight agenda is definitely forced on us. So I try to understand all sides, but like you say, it's boundaries for everything. Okay. Well, you have to understand. I don't think. Oh, that's, you know what? Let me think about that. Is is nature forced upon us, or is nature just nature? I want you guys to understand what I'm about to talk about. We have every right to disagree with each other. We have every right to disagree. This is a place where you can tell me I am wrong. This is a place where you can tell me I am wrong and you don't agree, and we'll talk it out. And if we don't come to an agreement, it is what it is. Understand that, okay? So say what you have to say. You have every right to say what you want to say. I want to make sure we have that clear. I want to make sure I build an audience of actual free thinkers. No, yeah, no. I just need to let that be known. But now, so is nature forced on us, or is nature just what nature is? Right? I say this because heterosexuality is nature personified. It is just nature, right? So nature isn't forced on us, it's just life. So I don't think representing the natural order is forced on us. But now how could the straight agenda be forced? I think when we like why do you care where that man wants to lay his head on? Why do you care who he wants to kiss on, right? Behind closed doors. Why do you care about that? You know? I don't get that, you know? But showing it in movies, always making sure we have straight characters, that's just natural. That's the natural order to me. Now, unless like let me think. Let's talk about Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Jujutsu Kaisen. There's a character right now, and then I'm gonna grab another character. In Jujutsu Kaisen, there is a character who looks like a girl, but it's a boy, and we know that character's trans, right? And people had so much problems with it, but this character is not like the main part of the story, and it's really not honestly talked about much. It's not really talked about. You just kind of it's an off comment that you find out that character's trans, right? Um, what else? There's um maybe you could have a character who just happens to be gay, right? Like, but that's not the main topic. They just happen to be gay, you know. I think True Blood. There was a movie called no, it was a show like in the 2010s called True Blood, and there was a black guy. He was gay on the show, but he was just gay, you know. Like he just happened to he was just there. He was just gay, you know. Like there was some scenes with him, but Spartacus, right? Um, there was a scene when like Spartacus was walking through the courtyard and all of the gladiators was having sex with each other, right? And then there was just one moment where you see one of the characters. It was two characters, two main characters. They weren't main characters; they're side characters, but they were having sex with each other and they were dudes, right? But it was just a quick scene, and then after that, you just kind of knew, like, okay. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know, like, if it serves the plot, or doesn't get in the way of the plot, I don't have issues with it. But when you start trying to convince everybody, like, this is the moment, rah, it's just like, bruh, that makes no fucking sense. Anyways, how did you improve so quickly in your stand up? I saw you when you initially sparred. You didn't impress me, but I recently saw a video of when you question mark kick someone. Um, well, I studied striking really like heavy. I studied striking so heavy. Really boxing. And I did that shadow boxing. There we go. Shadow boxing. Shadow boxing and a lot of studying. That's what I did. And I'm still getting better. I'm still getting there's still certain things that I want to develop, but the kicks, like I'm very proud of where I've gotten so far. And I'm happy that I'm at the point now. This is why I love you guys. This is why I love you guys. You guys bullied me into getting my stand up better. Y'all bullied the fuck out of me. You was like, your shit's terrible. It's ass. I was like, all right. Y'all bullied me into and I'm still trying to get better. I want my stand up to be like Ilya Toporius, like the way he. But I don't want to just be like just boxing. I want some kicks too. Like yeah. I studied my ass off. I study every day now. Though I study striking more than I study jujitsu now. Like that's how bad I'm trying to get it. And then what I want to do now is I want to start. I think what I need to start doing is when I shadow box, I need to go on live and let y'all see me, like just an open workout of me shadow boxing. I'm gonna do that one of these days. But I don't shadow box every day, but it's like every other day. But it needs to be every day. I need to embody that. So when it's time to get back in the cage, like my jujitsu is not the only problem anymore. Now you have to deal with like actual excellent striking. So that's kind of what I'm going for. I study it every day to answer your question. I'm sorry, I just started yapping. You said transgender males fighting as females in MMA sports is wild. Yeah, because me and Taylor Moore, we are the reasons why um in jiu-jitsu trans athletes cannot compete with women anymore. We're the reason why. Because of that famous moment where um, Taylor went against basically a man. It was a man, and I convinced Taylor that it was a girl, and Taylor beat um, the man, which was a trans, and and they got mad because we were celebrating that she basically beat a trans, and they and then the way I flipped it, it just rippled across the whole community, and then they just all organizations just like, nah, we're not having that no more. We're banning trans athletes going against our girls, because jujitsu is the problem with jujitsu is it's trying its best to be a safe space for women. So when you have things like that happen, it rattles the community, and they're not going for that. I've noticed jujitsu is really hard. Like people don't say it. They're like, "Oh, jiu-jitsu has a bunch of like weirdos," but they're really hard on people who do any type of sexual assault or anybody who endangers the girlies. And I love jiu-jitsu for that. You said, "Let me see. I don't want to seem overly biased." Now, explain what you mean when you say you study. Gotcha. Well, so with jiu-jitsu, I'm gonna explain how I got my striking up a little bit better. What's good, Rob? With jiu-jitsu, in order to get better at jujitsu, you have to roll a lot and you need to study. You will not get your jujitsu up if you do not study. What had happened was I had realized that boxing was the exact same thing. It's just a little bit faster. I look at this is why I've been planning on showing you guys poetry, no, art and music. I've been planning on showing that because the parallels of art and jujitsu, when I say art, I'm talking about drawing. The parallels of art and jujitsu is uncanny. And the parallels of music, instrumentation, I play piano, the parallels of that in striking is uncanny. It's absolutely parallel. So when I started seeing that in music, we have something called scales, which is steps, right? Like repeatable steps. And the way I train and practice piano, I had realized that I need to do the same for striking. So I realized everything in striking is in steps. So what I would do is I'll go on YouTube. I think YouTube for jujitsu is not as lucrative in terms of like instructionals. You have to pay for jujitsu instructionals, to be honest. But on YouTube, there's so many men, like creators, not men. Well, I haven't heard no. Wow, yeah, I haven't heard no female content creators that are teaching striking. But there's a lot of like content on YouTube just explaining different techniques. Right? There's so much. It's a giant plethora, and I would study that, and I would get up, and I would try to embody it in my brain, right? And striking is a tale of two cities. This is something I've discovered. Striking is a tale of two cities. You have the upper body, which is boxing, and you have the lower body, which is kicks. So I structure my striking, I separate them. So when I'm studying boxing, or no, this is better. This is so you can understand what I'm saying. Just because you have great kicks don't mean you have great striking, like great punching. Just because you have great punching doesn't mean that you would have great kicks. Okay? And then let's go even deeper with the kicks. Just because you're good at a roundhouse kick doesn't mean you're good at a spinning back kick. You get what I'm saying? So when I realized that, I started thinking like, holy shit, there's so much to study. So I sit back all day and I structure it by two two study sessions. I've learned with boxing with your hands, shadow boxing is incredibly key. It's incredibly key. But it's not just any shadow boxing. It's understanding and visualizing what exactly you're doing. So you have footwork, you have pivots, you have lateral steps, you have actual head movement. Then I started studying like calisthenics to make the upper body movements even more crisp and stronger. I'm still working on that right now. And then with kicks, I've learned that the foundation with kicks is jump rope, which I'm already good at. I freaking love jump rope. I adore jump rope. So, but then you have to also practice in the air with your kicks. I learned that from karate when I did a little bit of karate, of constantly kicking at the air. Now, my question mark kick did not come from karate. It came from me practicing Muay Thai, like me constantly doing Muay Thai and mixing my karate with Muay Thai. But yeah, that's like, and then I started buying instructionals too. I started buying like on BJJ Fanatics. For those who don't want to know what website I use, you have BJJ Fanatics, and well, that's Jiu-Jitsu, and then you have Dynamic Striking for striking. But the problem is, there's two problems with dynamics or just these instructionals. Number one, they're expensive. They're super expensive. And number two, you have to know what exactly you're looking to study. You know, so um, and that's what I've been doing. I have been studying the hell out of striking. So when I say I'm studying striking, I'm talking about boxing, and I'm talking about kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA. MMA has different kicks. So boxing is, to me, boxing is the only like upper body. I mean, you got some MMA stuff, I guess. Yeah, there is MMA, but boxing, the sweet science. But when it comes to kicks, that's a totally different ballpark. Like Muay Thai has great roundhouse kicks. Um, Karate has really good front kicks. Like really, I've been training front kicks. Karate or no, yeah. Karate has a spin kicks, and I'm studying it. I want to do it because a couple of people asked me. They said, "Smitty, why don't you do wheel kicks? Like, why don't you do spin kicks?" I'm like, all right, hold on, let me figure this shit out of how to do it first before I start throwing it in practice, because I don't have no control over it yet. But I've been practicing that. And then you have calf kicks. That's an MMA thing, 100%. That's an MMA kick. And then the oblique kick is Wing Chun. Yeah, so there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. YouTube though. YouTube. YouTube really helps out. It the striking community on YouTube is so good. And then it's so good that I could watch a video and I could rewatch it again. Like I could just watch it over and over again. But you have to embody it. It's just like music. You can't play your musical instrument for like 5 minutes and think you're gonna be able to like there we go. So let's talk about music, for example. So whatever I say about music also goes into striking. Okay. So we're gonna talk about white people and black people. I know that sounded crazy, but just follow me here. So if you look at, so when I say white people, when I say black people, we're gonna talk about what's the word? You have improvisational with black people, and then you have um what is that word? Oh my gosh. We'll say concrete thinking. That's not the word, but we'll say concrete thinking. We'll just say concrete thinking. Anyways, so if you look at all of Western classical music, right, which is based off the piano, they would have structure that they would go by. They'll, dun, 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 dun. But then when you had back then the black creators, they didn't have the sheet music and stuff, so they had to feel the music. They had to feel it, right? So they improvised, right? That's the same thing with striking. Striking is just you learn the steps, right? It's the mixture of both. You learn the steps, you learn how to properly do it, right? And then you improvise it. Mix those two together, striking gets better. I hope you're making a book out of this. I would definitely buy it. Man, you wanna know the best I could do for y'all right now? The best I could do is freely give this to you on live stream in case something happened to me. That's the best I could do because it's still a working theory. Like I just feel like it's going like it took me 10 years to really understand the totality of martial arts. It took me 10 years. I'm not talking about just jujitsu. I understand all the jujitsu now. I understand jujitsu to a fucking T. I understand it. The now is just embodying it. There's a difference. Like I understand it conceptually, but I have to embody it now. And I understand MMA, the totality of MMA. I understand it all. But now what I want to do is I want to embody it. I want to master it and then make it simple and then give it back to you guys. That's the big plan. That's the big plan. I'm working on that right now. That's what I'm working on. Where I want to give it's kind of like philosophy, right? So the philosophers would spend their entire lives coming up with one topic, right? They come up with one topic and then they give the topic to the philosophy community and then they die, right? And everybody stands on that topic and builds from there. I believe when it's all said and done, if I'm given a chance to actually live this out properly, I'm gonna put a block. And I believe people will be able to get on my block and go up higher. That's what I believe is gonna happen. Kind of like with Bruce Lee with MMA. He came up with a concept of MMA and died, but people still like took that idea and built up off it. That's why people have so much respect for Bruce Lee. He's like the godfather of MMA. Someone said, "You are that dude. I enjoy your videos. I would love to see you roll with Demetrius Johnson." Yeah, Demetrius Johnson, he is so interesting to me. I feel like the way he's mastered MMA, like he's mastered it. But I feel like there's two different like okay. What I'm telling you guys is I conceptually get it, where I could write it down where a baby could understand it. But I haven't embodied it. I feel Demetrius Johnson embodied it. But does he, and I think he conceptually gets it, but could he, because he's in that position, could he put it in a book where someone really simple understands? Because everyone understands Demetrius Johnson's concept of the void. But like for example, I'm gonna explain something that Demetrius Johnson struggles to explain. He always struggles to explain it, but I understand what he's saying. Someone asked him, they always ask him like, "Oh, like, do you like this of MMA? Do you like that of MMA?" And he always says, "I want to see the totality of MMA." He always says that. He says, "I don't want to see the like two guys beat the shit out of each other. I want to see all of MMA." So what Demetrius Johnson is actually saying is something that I have learned is that there's 4 dimensions of MMA. You have striking. I told you guys there's punches, there's kicks. You have clinch takedowns. It's one of the major things I've been studying lately. Clinch takedowns, where you have the Muay Thai clinch, you have wrestling, there's jiu-jitsu has its own clinching system. What else am I missing? Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, and then you have takedowns, like actual takedowns, right? And then you have cage fighting. Habib Nurmagomedov was like a prime example of this. I think Prime Izzy like was really great at stuffing and getting off of the cage. You know, there's stuff like that, cage fighting. And then you have jiu-jitsu, right? So what DJ is actually saying is he wants to see a fight where everybody goes through all 4 of those dimensions and they show something new to the game. Like he wants to see 2 dudes boxing with small MMA gloves and they show something new. Maybe there's like a certain pivot, there's a certain way they move, and they transition seamlessly with the punches to the kicks. DJ wants to see that. He wants to see someone clinch and show a clinch technique, right? That maybe he hasn't seen, or maybe they execute something he's seen properly, right? He wants to see proper cage fighting. He wants to see proper jujitsu, and then he wants to see them blend all four of these to a knockout or a submission. That's what he wants to see. I don't think he cares about knockout or submission. I think he does, but that's what he wants to see. That's what DJ wants to see. But he never explains it to everybody. Well, he can't, because all the clips. If you see what I just explained, right? It took like what, 5 minutes. Like these, like you can't clip form that type of stuff. How do you feel you would do? How do you feel you would do rolling with Mighty Mouse? Um, I think I would do really well rolling with him. Fighting him, there's a difference. I don't think I actually seen him in person before. He didn't know who the fuck I was. I didn't say nothing to him either. I've seen him in person. We went to I seen him and what's that man's name? What's his name? He's a black dude. Oh my gosh. He was in White Chicks. The black dude in White Chicks. The one who was the love interest of one of our main characters. The big buff black dude. The big buff black dude. What's his name? He was Latrell in White Chicks. Making my way downtown. That dude. I seen him in person. I forgot what is his name. Terry Crews. Thank you. Yes, I saw Terry Crews and Demetrius Johnson in person in the same event. Roll with the guy who embarrassed DJ. I think his name was Mikey from Vegas. I wouldn't mind. Terry Crews is huge as shit in person. Terry Crews is a big ass dude. I was shocked. Terry Crews is bigger than The Rock. He's big as shit. I couldn't believe how big Terry Crews was. He does, like, you know how some people say, like, oh, you look taller on TV. Terry Crews is actually short on TV. He's huge as fuck in person. I was shocked. And he's actually buff. He's that buff. He's bigger. I couldn't believe how big that man was. I was like, wow. Like on some specimen shit. I seen Dwayne The Rock Johnson in person too. We were watching we were invited to see The Wrecking Machine. Or like what was that called? It was some movie The Rock did. It was a few months ago. I didn't like the movie. I thought it was bad. But I saw Demetrius Johnson in person. He is tiny. He's tiny. Yeah, Demetrius Johnson is short. How would I do? I think I'll do good jiu-jitsu wise. But if we're talking about MMA jiu-jitsu, he'd fuck me up. I don't know. Because I'm still learning. He has like MMA jiu-jitsu and pure jiu-jitsu is two different things. It's two different things, you know? So I don't know. I don't think I would do well MMA jiu-jitsu wise, but regular jiu-jitsu, I think I'll do really well. Because regular jiu-jitsu or sport jiu-jitsu, that's the word. Sport jiu-jitsu is its own thing. Like with sport jiu-jitsu, if I was going against DJ, right, I could lay on my back and play the leg lock game all I want, and I could just sit there and just chill, right? Like I could just sit there and chill. But if we're talking about MMA jiu-jitsu, you sit on your ass in half guard. So watch this. In half guard, you can chill. It's cozy in sport jiu-jitsu. Half guard in MMA jiu-jitsu is one of the most terrifying positions. Like I'm talking about half guard bottom. It's one of the most terrifying positions to be in because you are getting elbowed. They're swinging. You can't get up. It's like you need to know actual techniques. Who's your favorite fighter? I'm going to always say it, Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira. That man, he fundamentally changed the way I saw jiu-jitsu in mixed martial arts. Like, he changed everything for me. I said, wow. To see, like, he brought, like, when he went against, it was like what made me a fan of Charles Oliveira was when I saw him fought Kevin Lee. It was when he fought Kevin Lee. He was attempting to do he was playing with leg locks mid fight in MMA, and I saw he was trying to figure the shit out, and he was doing sport jujitsu techniques, and it blew my mind because I wasn't doing MMA at that time. Like I hadn't been training or practicing MMA, but I watched him do that, and he made me realize I was like, wait, so you can actually bring sport jujitsu into MMA, and just the way, and like the way Kevin Lee was just puzzled by that shit, you know? And then eventually Charles got the submission. Yeah, he became my favorite fighter. And then Islam Makhachev is my second favorite fighter. Before everybody knew who Islam was, I watched Islam dominate people through the ranks. I watched him do it up until where he is now. And then I have deep respect for Ilia Topuria. He's been like one of my biggest inspirations, I would say, for striking. To watch a jiu-jitsu guy, because Ilia Topuria is a jiu-jitsu guy. People are forgetting that. He's not a striker. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. But to seeing how good he developed his striking, I have been like, it just gave me an idea that I could do the same thing. So these are all my influences thus far in MMA. Charles Oliveira, I love the swagginess. I love how he inspired people. He just got that like that favela ghetto in him. Like it's you can see it. Like you can't like I don't speak fucking Portuguese, but you see like you see it in him. Like yeah, I just love it. I love it, just charisma. With it can't even speak the English, a lick of English. Love that. I love that. I feel like if he was a bit younger, well, no, he don't even need to be younger. He did what he needs to do. There's still some things he needs to work on, but he is the complete fighter. I knew he was gonna get knocked out by Ilya, though. I knew that 100%. 100%. I knew that was gonna happen. How would you guillotine a dude the size of Terry Crews from standing? I wouldn't. I'd kick his knees. I'd kick his knees. That's what I would do. I have a true belief. I teach MMA twice a week. Sometimes 3 times or 4 times, depending if someone wants me to be a substitute teacher. I teach people, I say this all the time, and I'm gonna tell you guys verbatim. I say, if you want to be a good submission artist in MMA, you have to beat their ass standing first. You have to. You have to submit them standing. So the stand up is one of the most, if you're a submission artist, the stand up actually is the most important thing for the game of a submission artist. If you want to finish that fight, you're like, if you just want to just be a little grappler, go wrestle. You know, go wrestle. Trying to pop my neck. Just go to wrestling class, go to jiu-jitsu class. When the fight starts, just lay and pray. Like, just shoot for dear life. You get what I'm saying? You can't see where the punches is going. Just fuck it. Just get close and Habib that shit. Get him to the cage. Like, there's so much stuff you could do. But if you want to submit the person, if you want to be entertaining, you have to submit them standing first. You got to beat them in the stand-up. So if I was going against Terry Crews, I'd kick his knees. That's what I'd do. I'd side kick his knees. I'd side kick the hell out of his knees. Whop. Yep, that's what I would do. And then I would use a lot of circling. I'll circle around him a lot until I can chop him down. Of course, eventually he might grab me, but that's fine. Because then you just made it easier for me. And then if we go to the ground, maybe some submissions. The only problem is if we're on concrete, oh gosh, he could slam me too, knock me out. He could do that too. Because you wouldn't. It depends on where we're fighting at too. I think I'd pick up a weapon first. He would have. There's something, that motherfucker's big, bro. Y'all don't know what. Yeah, he's huge. Maybe I'd pick up a weapon first. So I'd probably kick his knees and have a weapon in my hand. I'm trying to think like I got weapons all in my space. Y'all can't see it, but I got weapons. I'm like, what would I use? Or maybe gun fu. Yeah, like yeah. I don't. If it comes to self defense or a real fight, I'm not playing fair. I want you guys to know that. If I ever like no, it's gonna happen when this stream gets huge and like we have so many people, and y'all ever see like a viral clip, like they're like, oh, mixed martial artist Smitty got into a fight, right? Parkour, you damn right. Parkour, exactly. If I can't talk my way out of it or run from Terry Crews, we're gonna have to use some. We're gonna have to use some weapons. But I just want y'all to know, if you happen to be scrolling on IG, something, superstar Smitty'Wit got into a fight, and you see me with like a weapon in my hand, just, just know, I'm not fighting fair, bro. Don't do like I want y'all to remember this. Remember, I told you guys. Remember that I'm not fighting fair. I'm not gonna sit here. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm picking something up. You have to get through dirty tactics first before you get through my fighting skills. So you have to like I'm a black man first. Like like I am a ghetto nigga from Inglewood first. Okay? Like when I grew up literally in the hood. You know, like I'm not trying to be like a tough hood guy. Nah, bro, but I'm telling you guys, I'm not playing fair. Mm-mm. I'm sorry. Whatever you guys are thinking, yeah, I know y'all have seen me fight. Y'all seen my skills. You see my intellect, and you're trying to imagine me in a street. You know, this is perfect because if I ever made a martial arts movie, like where I'm starring in it and I directed it, right? You wanna know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be the villain. I love villains, but there's gonna be a moment where it's like it's time to go. Like you guys think like imagine Star Wars when Darth Maul first came, and he came out, the doors came in like that, right? And then he squared up with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon, and he fought a 2-on-1. It's gonna be just like that for me. And then I'm gonna fucking run. I swear. I swear to God, that's gonna be my character. Like the whole on some General Grievous stuff. Like the whole movie. The whole movie. Y'all gonna see me running from people. They're gonna be like, what? And then it's gonna be that one moment when you see me get cornered and you're gonna see the actual skill set come out. That's how I think. My name is not Smitty Fight. My name is not Smitty Strongman. My name is Smitty'Wit. Look that word up. It means intellectual humor, quick thinking. I'm running. I am running, and I'm using weapons on you. I'm not playing fair. So keep that in mind. If you ever see, there's this dude that was on he was getting slapped on live stream and he was getting elbowed on live stream. That wouldn't be me. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, you don't need to. It's just so is that instance where you're like, oh yes, fuck my ego. Mm-mm. Fuck my ego, dude. No, no. And it's crazy because I know that might shock a lot of you. No, I'm alive. I keep my pretty face. Thank you, Major Capital. No, I'm not playing fair. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget. Uh, this like I had a best friend in high school, right? This is like when people. So in the black community, the negative side of our community, we have gangbanging, right? Um, and he was on the train, and a couple of kids came, and they are there. Yeah, at the time we were in high school, so we was like 17. A couple of kids came, and they said, "Hey, where you from?" So if you don't know like gang culture, when people say where you're from, they flag checking you. You might end up getting killed. You might end up getting jumped. You know. So they asked my homie, "Where was you from?" And he had his head down, and they pushed him. Where you from? And he was very, very smart. I didn't know how he was gonna get out of this. But me and him thought the same. So I was looking, I was like, what is he gonna do? Yeah. They said, oh, my bad, G. They looked at me, I said, that's my brother. Like, bruh, like, and then like, yep. The street is not like it's no church in the wild, bro. I love that song, "No Church in the Wild" by Frank Ocean, Jay Z, and Kanye, bro. No church in the wild, bro. He said, "I'm your size, and I never back down from nobody in my life. I'm going to listen to you from now on." It's not about backing down. It's not about backing down. We're playing chess. Yeah, exactly. We're playing chess. This is chess. I'm gonna use everything in my power to win. You know, it's not about backing down. I still want you to go train martial arts. I still want you to, uh, that's why I always say train martial arts, learn how to shoot a gun, learn how to use weapons arts, but that's the last resort. That's the last resort. When people corner you and they think they got you, imagine this. Imagine someone really like I talked to them, they chased me down and they cornered me, right? At this point, they're probably wheezing and tired, you know, and they don't know what I know. you know, I just set you up now. Like now you have to fight like the real me now. Now you have to actually oh, what the hell? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's chess. Don't think about your ego. Think about living. I think what happened was I watched way too much Animal Planet. I think that's the problem. Like if you watch like if you go on just type in lions and zebras and all that stuff, right? In the wild, if you have a fatal fight, even if you won that fight in the wild, it ends up getting the animal killed later on. Like let's say like if a lion fights with another lion over something, and then yeah, maybe maybe lion 1 beat lion 2, but let's say lion 2 ripped his jaw a certain way, right? So now he's walking with his jaw like this. He can't survive now. He's going to eventually die. It's the same stuff. So anyways, is your next move to go to the UFC? Well, okay, so what I'm thinking about is um I would like to I don't need to fight, but I plan on trying to go to the highest level I can. And that if it's UFC, is UFC. This is just entertainment. I'm a student of the game for entertainment. It's for the love of the game, dog. Like imagine this. Like imagine I'm in the UFC. We have a title fight coming up, and I'm on live stream with you guys. You know how fucking crazy that would be. Well, usually when I fight, I'm quiet. So maybe I'll probably have my brother sitting there and he'll be recording, but I wouldn't be talking to you guys. I'd be locked in. Um, he said, "Are you in the Los Angeles area? The wifey and I will be there next month." Yes, I am in Los Angeles, California. I train at 10th Planet West LA, and I train at Uprise MMA, and I train at Boxing Works. That's where I train at. But yeah, I train at 3 gyms, and then I go to 4 gyms technically. Yeah, I train at like 4 gyms. I'm on live early today because at 7 o'clock I'm gonna have to get off at on the dot. I'm be teaching jujitsu later on at 7:30. So at 7 o'clock on the dot, I'm gonna get off. Well, I think I'm gonna wait like 7:01 because I want it to be 2 hours. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. I made a point to try to go live 2 hours a day. I want like every day we're gonna sit here. I'm gonna talk to you guys, and it's gonna be 2 hours a day. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. This the best way I can make quality time with you guys. I learned stuff from you guys. Y'all learned stuff from me. We're getting better and then we're just gonna get bigger and bigger as a unit. You said me and wifey caught your match and the girl that be with you. Oh, Taylor. Yeah. Taylor. Taylor lives in she's not in LA anymore. She lives with her boyfriend in San Diego. Um that's why me and Taylor haven't made videos together in so long. But I do plan on um visiting Taylor real soon. It's been a minute. That's crazy. I don't think I've seen Taylor. Wow. Oh. I don't think I've seen Taylor in a year, maybe two. No, it's been a year. I think it's been a year. When was the last time I seen Taylor? I don't know. I talk to her every day though. I talk to her every single day. She's a beast with two. Y'all should do matches and streams for fun. Yeah. We used to stream all the time. I'm happy where she's at. Y'all don't understand how happy I am for her. I'm so happy for her. She just got cheated out of a match though. And she was calling me angry about it. And I was like, bro, I was like, Taylor, you have shit to do. I was like, you have shit to do. Like, stop arguing with these nobodies. Like, Taylor wants to be ADCC champ. I'm like, bruh, she wants to win trials. You know, like, you gotta lock in, baby. We can't be worried about nobodies. Oh, you saw that? Yeah, she called me up and she was so angry about it. Yeah, she for those who don't know, so Taylor, me and Taylor, we basically used each other to blow up. Okay. I was already kind of famous, but like when me and Taylor linked up, magic happened. You know, I taught her some things and she helped me. Like it was just magic. So now Taylor is known as the guillotine queen. For those who don't know, she'll grab a bitch by the head and she'll guillotine them. She had a match. I think it was last weekend or something, and she's going against a girl. The girl tapped, but I guess the referee like called it out of bounds, which was kind of suspicious. It was suspicious. Like the way it looked, it was very suspicious. And then the girl tapped on camera, but then they reset it, right? And then the girl eventually beats Taylor by points. So Taylor posts the video, angry that she lost. She felt like she was done unjustly, and people started arguing with her. It was like a split down the middle of people arguing with her. Black belts on her side, black belts against her. And every time Taylor calls I want you guys to know for my actual streamers, my not streamers, my chat, every single thing that goes on with her, she calls me. She calls me and we talk about it. Every single thing. And I'm one of those friends where I'm honest with her. Like there's certain things she felt like, and I was like, Taylor, like, I said, bro, like, you gotta learn the art of shutting the fuck up. I was like, this is like, you said what you had to say. You got like it's split down the middle. She's like, well, I want everyone to agree with me. I said, we got other shit to do, baby. We got other stuff to do. You know, I'm one of those friends. Like I'm like, you wasting your time. I said, I know it hurts. I know it's gonna still be on your mind. It's okay. It could be on your mind. But you are trying to be a champion. That's what you're trying to be. We're winners here. That's why I tell you guys too, we're winners here. I need you focused on the correct things. She wants to go to ADCC. She wants to win trials. Worrying about some little unknown organization cheating you, waste of time. Yeah, run it back another day. Like, you're a star. Go make sure your body's on point. The real stuff that counts. And I told her, I said, think about it like this. I said, you could sit here and be mad about this video, but if you go to trials, right, and you lose trials because you wasn't training because you was mad about this video, you're gonna be pissed off at yourself. You're gonna hate yourself. She thought about it. She was like, "You're right." I said, she called me earlier, but I was teaching MMA, and she might. I bet you she probably called me now, and I didn't answer them. I don't even want to check it. I don't even want to check it because we talked during this time. But I already told her. I said I'm dedicating 2 hours to live, and then I'm gonna have to go teach jujitsu. But yeah, that's my homegirl. Love her to death. I love her to death. She better be happy I wasn't there though. It sucks. Like a lot of her controversial things, like I'm not there. Like, but when I am there, like I'm on it. The way I handle that stuff. But if I was there, I would have told her to hop off the mat. I was like, hey Taylor, we're done. Get off the mat. That's what I would tell her. We're done. Like if he's not gonna acknowledge the tap, then we're not. This is not jujitsu. You know, that's what I would have did. But whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be. It's gonna be one of these days. I'm gonna be around when it counts, though. One of these days, I'm gonna be around when it counts. One of these days, I will be. No, no, no. I'm not interested in the Olympics. They don't get paid. Am I tripping? Correct me if I'm wrong. Major, major. Correct me if I'm wrong. They don't get paid. They don't. They don't get paid. And then Nogi is not. Now you do get clout for that. Would I go to the Olympics for Nogi Jiu-Jitsu for clout? I probably would do some shit like that. But they don't get paid though. Only credit and endorsement deals. I don't know. I feel like going like trying to I I feel like you guys would respect me more if I went to the UFC. You get sponsors maybe? Yeah, maybe. But I feel like you guys would respect me 100% more if I got in the UFC. If I was fighting for a title in the UFC or even one championship. I feel like you guys would be way more hyped. You're gonna be a legend either way. Yeah, I know. But like just imagine an influencer like me get there. Because there's gonna be so many angles that you guys are gonna see. You say we respect you already, bro. I know, but this is better. This is way better. I'm gonna say it like this. My goal is to make y'all proud. So I know y'all would be proud if I went to the Olympics, but imagine like pay-per-view, Paramount, like my face is on a main card and and like I'm generating butts to seats. You get what I'm saying? It starts right here. It starts right here. Me on live stream. They're gonna look back at this stuff. Watch what I tell y'all. If I stay on course, they're gonna look back at this stuff. But just imagine, I'm in the back room about to have a title fight, live streaming this shit. You guys are seeing angles y'all ain't never seen before. Because y'all know what I would do. Like y'all know me. Like I would be recording everything. Y'all would see everything that you didn't expect to see from the inside. You said it was a 50-50 split in arguing for and against. What was the argument against her winning? Oh, okay. So I understand what the other people were talking about. So when Taylor had the guillotine, right, the ref stopped the match. He did stop the match. He did. But the problem is people do not understand how hard it is to hear, right? Taylor's head was down and she was looking at the opponent and the ref was behind her. Doing this, right? And sitting there and saying stop, right? She can't hear you. It's very hard to hear when you're like in such a stressful situation. So they were arguing that the ref stopped the match already, but visually he stopped the match. But was it audible? And you can't even really hear him. He had to say stop multiple times. And then what was suspicious to me was he sat there. They were out of bounds. And he didn't call it until she got the guillotine grip and she started submitting her. So, yeah. Let me see. What's your favorite drink? Red Bull. Red Bull and cocktails. Red Bull and cocktails. That's my favorite drink. Any cocktail. Any cocktail. I love sweets. I love stimulants. There we go. That's why Red Bull is part of it. I love stimulants. That'd be crazy. You versus Demetrius Johnson, calling him out of retirement. I would actually want to train with him. I would train with him. I feel like Demetrius Johnson did what he needed to do. I would call him out to train with him. Cause I would rather pick that man's he is such a nerd, right? That I think there would be a lot of stuff that I could take from him. And I believe like not a lot of people that are actively fighting, they don't utilize him enough. I feel like they don't utilize him enough. Um, do you do videos? What do you mean? If you go on my page, go on my shorts. Just go on the shorts. There you go. That all because I know some people are meeting me via just they're meeting me via stream. So I probably sound like I'm just talking. Like I probably just sound like I'm just talking. Just go on the shorts, click the page, go on the shorts, and you'll be like, oh, yeah. Okay, I see what he's talking about. Out of bounds. Yeah. They said shit. You say, is it okay if I roasted the vegan teacher? Yeah, go right ahead. You talking about Scott, my coach? How long have you been training jiu-jitsu? I started jiu-jitsu 2019. February. No, March 1st. Ooh, yeah. So how long? Ooh, no. It hasn't been. It hasn't been. How many years has that been? I started 2019, March 1st in gi, in gi, and then I started. I did like 3 months of the gi, April, May, June, and then I started doing. I started training no gi like in the summer of 2019. So how many years is that? In 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I guess what it's been almost 7 years, or is it going on 8? I don't fucking know. Just know 2019. There you go, 2019. 7, 8 years. Some people's like, why are you not a black belt yet? There you go. I started in 2019. How? Okay, cool. So you say, is it okay if I roasted the vegan teacher? You talking about my coach Scott, right? You can say whatever you want about Scott. He will argue with you. You can go on his page right now and just say something to him. He's going to argue with you. Amazing, you ate that good. I thought you've been doing it at least 15 to 20 years. Yeah, it's all studying. And that's what I'm trying to get my striking like that. I'm desperately trying to get my striking like that. I want my striking to be um I'm telling you guys, when I saw Ilya Taporia, the way he controls fights with his striking, and what's underrated about him too is his clinching. That man's clinching is just phenomenal, dude. Like his clinching is phenomenal. Welcome back, Ace. Oh, Ace is back. Oh, I'm sorry, Ace. I didn't even see that. My bad, Ace. I saw the hands, but I thought that was somebody else. But yeah. I want so good. This is a good live stream today. I'm actually really happy. It started off funky as hell, but this is a great live stream. Great as hell. Had a good time. But now what I want to do, I'm gonna write this down. So what I want to do now is from now on, I've kind of figured out how I want to structure these lives. So it might take the first hour, and then after that, I might be able to kick back with you guys for the next hour. So at least we have things to talk about. So we have vertical thinking. So I probably would explain what vertical thinking is, and then we'll have the compass system. So we have the compass communication system. So I'll explain that communication system. Okay, and then I'll talk about vertical thinking and horizontal thinking. hmm And then after that, I'll talk about the south, and then I'll talk about the north, and then I'll talk about. Do I want to talk about east first or west? Because I'm going backwards. So I'll talk about the west. Yeah, we'll talk about the west. And then we'll talk about the east. We'll end it with the east. There we go. There we go. That's how we're going to do this. Bam. And then after I get done yapping, then I'll read you guys' comments and we'll sit back and we'll do the live streams like we've been doing the past like 6, 7 days, where we sit back and we just sit back and we just talk, you know. So I think that's gonna be dope. You said, "Oh, thank you, appreciate that." I sent a gift, but John. Oh, let me read what you guys said. Um, Ilya is the best boxer in UFC with world class. Golly, I'm so sorry. God damn. Ilya Taporia is the best boxer in the UFC with world class grappling. Dude might top John. He said, but John has a longevity though. That's true. I think, but it's interesting though because theoretically Taporia would have the longevity too. He's trying to speed run the UFC. I've noticed that's the best way to do it. That's what I would do. Like if I went to the UFC and I had Taporia's skills, I think I'd be trying to speed run too. Like Taporia, Pereira, like that type. Because I know Pereira got like maybe one or two more fights. Maybe one or two more fights. And then he's gonna retire. I just know that. Like, and nobody would bat an eye because he's delivered some amazing fights. But that's what I would do. I would speed run the hell out of the UFC. But what I have noticed after watching Pereira and watching Marab is at some point you need to know when to take a rest. Because Pereira, for example, when he was speed running, it came to a certain point when he went against Ankalaev, right? And I think his foot or his hand was broken or something, but he still took that match. And everybody like turned on Pereira. Because I remember like he was running around and he was doing a lot of media day for the UFC. He was doing so much media day for the UFC. And then they turned around and made him fight Ankalaev, and then he lost, right? And then everybody started talking shit. And I was like, bro, he was doing media day. So he got quiet. And then he immediately ran through Ankalaev. The moment that fight started, he ran right through him. And then everybody loved Pereira again. Same with I just had his name. God damn it, I just had his name. What's the other little dude? There we go. Marab Dvalishvili. He was just fighting so much. And then he finally like lost to Piotr Yan. So you gotta know when to kind of calm down. I think that's even in the 33 strategies of war. Don't fight the last war. You know, you said. I mean, John been in the game for many years, undefeated. I think like, see, people don't know. John Jones is just older. Like, and what do I mean by that? They think that he was scared of Tom Aspinall and all this stuff. Maybe, but the older you get, you need to pick your battles wisely. The older you get. So at that point, I felt like John was like, why would I play with myself for a no-name kid? Like there was nothing for John to gain out of that fight. They had to pay him a lot of money. I think even with Francis Ngannou, he had a better shot with Francis Ngannou, but I think it was just money. At the end of the day, it's just like if I'm gonna risk my health with such a tough fight and I'm older, bro, you need to pay me. And the UFC don't pay. That's why like I'm telling you guys, I don't have to fight. I don't have to do this. I'm not doing this for money. This right here that I'm doing, this is the money. You get what I'm saying? Like streaming is money. Streamers make more money than rappers, UFC fighters, all that stuff, you know? I don't have to do that. But it's for the love of the game. I think Dana White said it best. He said, this is an opportunity. He didn't say this is how you become financially free. He said this is an opportunity. You get what I'm saying? But he said, why is it that you can say you can't lift and do BJJ again? What was your logic because of injury? You overtrain. So the reason why you can't lift and do jujitsu is because your body's literally going to stop you. So let's say you lift weights today, right? I'm very mindful of this now, by the way. You lift weights, your body is going to be sore. It's going to be sore and it's not going to move a certain way properly if things get sticky. Okay. So Where you from? Los Angeles, California. So you need to keep that in mind. I think the best time to lift weights is when you are no longer when you're no longer what am I trying to say? When you're not doing jujitsu. That's what I'm trying to say. When you're not doing jujitsu, like you're done for the week, go lift some weights or eat properly. That's a good one too. If you want to lift weights and do jujitsu, you need to eat properly. I'm talking like you need to make sure you're gaining the correct amount of protein. Like, because your body needs to repair. Why? Because you can get injured really fast. That, just to give you an understanding, is how I dislocated my shoulder. Overtraining. I was lifting weights, jumping rope, training 4 or 5 times a day. Had one gym altercation because I was tired, dislocated my shoulder. Now I have to move slower than well, it's weird. You want to know something crazy? I believe I move like I was before the shoulder dislocation, I was explosive as fuck, you know? I'm still explosive, but now I'm way more like patient. And I feel like I move faster now. I pick when to go fast. And like when I watch myself on my videos, I look so much faster than I used to be. And it's weird too, because I know I'm not faster than I used to be. But the way I move, it's faster. And I'm like, what happened? But yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to get faster, go dislocate your shoulder, I guess. But like don't listen to me. But yeah, just eat properly, get the correct sleep if you're gonna mix lifting with jujitsu. Jones really lost to Gustafson and that one Spanish dude, Matt Hamilton. He won the fight that he lost on paper. Yeah. I mean Jones, dude. All right. It's been 2 hours. I have to teach jujitsu literally like less than 30 minutes. And I told you guys I was gonna get off at 7. The freaking topics got so good. We started talking about some fun stuff. I'm gonna be on tomorrow. Just look at the page. I'm gonna post it. I don't think I have anything tomorrow, but I think I want to get on around this time again. Like I got on at what, 4 o'clock? I think it was 4 or 5. It was like 4 or 5. No, it was 5. I got on at 5. So 5 o'clock around California, Pacific Coast. Like I'm in California. That's where I'm in. 5 o'clock tomorrow, I will definitely be on. Around 5 o'clock. 100% I'll be on. And Ghost is my witness. I usually always be like, I'm gonna be on. I never come on. I've been on. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but I have to make sure that I'm on time and I gotta go teach these guys. I love you guys. As always, you say, can you get ripped with just boot or just jujitsu? Yes, you can. We'll talk about that. Actually, let me write that down. Can you get ripped with just jujitsu? I will wait for you to come in tomorrow and we'll talk about that. I love you guys. I want you guys to be safe. If you're out there doing whatever you do, just pay attention. I need you guys. I need to see you guys tomorrow. We need to make it tomorrow. I need you guys to pray. If you don't believe in God or whatever, that's fine. But watch your ass, okay? You guys be safe. Love you guys. I'll be on tomorrow, 5 p.m. California.